Hello, my name is Dale DuFay. I'm going to narrate this video for Mary Hall. As many of you know, she monitors the space station live feed. And this is the beginning of the video. I have it on pause because I want to explain a couple things in case those who don't know. This object here on the upper right is part of the space station. Now, you can only see it during daytime, and obviously it's nighttime on the Earth. They're on the nighttime side of the Earth. They just passed the Terminator. You can tell because they're still high enough to catch some of the sun on the nighttime Terminator. So it's reflecting on this. This will disappear. And then once it gets totally dark, you'll see spots all over the screen. All over red ones, blue ones, green ones, even over this thing, a part of the space station. So you keep in mind that the lens is always pointing towards Earth. So these spots are not, anything other than spots that remain on the screen. For some reason, they're always there when it gets dark. They're not objects at all. They're not stars because obviously there's no stars between the space station and Earth. So these are on the end lens. There's a lot more that appear when this gets dark. You even see them in this area. So that concludes that there are spots that are on the lens all over. But there are things that appear, UFOs, that very clearly marks. Now the thing is the space station generally goes. The space station is always going from west to east with the rotation of the Earth. But for some reason, in this video, and in a lot of times they reverse it. I think they do that to, it's kind of like a screensaver kind of thing, so that data or because everything's digital, because it's always generally the Earth is going this way from right to left. Everything, the surface of the Earth as they go around is going this way generally, because the space station is going from the left to right. So the Earth would appear to be going from right to left. But for some reason, again, it's reversed in this video. The Earth is actually going the opposite. It'll be from the left to the right, as opposed to generally this way from the right to the left. So everything's opposite. So if you're familiar with the space station live feed, that can be confusing because generally it's going correctly, but everything's backwards. I think they do that to for digital reasons for the camera. So everything's literally backwards. It's kind of strange, but keep that in mind. Any kind of light that's visible from the space station on Earth, which is very hard. It has to be quite a large city because the space station is 265 miles from the surface of the Earth. So you're not going to see, say, headlights or things like that, or lights on boats. Some of the large fishing fleets that illuminate for fishing reasons or for shrimping, you could see them. And of course, everything's stationary. Every light that's stationary with the Earth is going to go from the right to the left, and the speed is generally like this. It's not too fast. So some of these objects now can be lights that she spots. Again, before I'm going to play the video, and some of the things, they're unidentified, but they could be lights because they're moving consistently with a stationary object that would be on the Earth. So but keep an eye on ones that move in different directions, up or down, and things like that. Then they're not stationary objects on the Earth. They're actually going at great speeds because the space station is going in excess of 16,000 miles an hour. So if there's any irregular, if something's kind of aiming down or up, but maintaining the consistency of the speed of the space station, they're going very fast. But some of them are even going faster. So I just want to explain what's going on here. This will disappear. The spots will be all over, the color spots all over. That's common, but things do appear. So let's go on. Let's move the tape on, or the video. See, you can see one right there. But see, these couldn't be lights on the Earth. They're too bright. You know what I'm saying? There's one there. It's just amazing. See how this is fading away. This is reaching the terminator of the sun into night, daytime into night. Now this could be something on the Earth, but again, there's no Earth under here. I forgot to mention this is the South Atlantic Ocean, or South Pacific, just coming down out of Japan into the South Pacific. Now this could be a little island out there or something with lights on, city lights, but I doubt it. Again, because this is deep in the South Pacific. So here these appear. Again, it's kind of suspicious because of the speed. You know, this is exactly what a stationary object would look like if it was sitting on the Earth. It's about the same speed. So these could be, but why would there be lights out in the South Pacific? Not. I mean, boats have lights, of course, but you're not going to see any of them. We're too far up here. See these lights, all these red ones, they are stationed. That's part of the screen or the lens of the camera they have. That's the lens is outside the space station. So this is about, if you keep an eye on some of these, they'll veer down or up, so they're not, they're not UFO lights on the Earth. They're unidentified objects. Now this is, of course, my mouse. So keep an eye on a lot of these. Some of them are blinking. That one disappeared behind that object. Remember that object, a part of the space station, is always here, even though we can't see it. So you'll see things disappearing behind it. Like that one's just below it. So it's going to go, see, it just disappeared because it went behind that object. That's still there. Watch this one disappear. That's because it went right behind that space station. I believe it's one of the living quarters or something. Or part of the, just part of the space station. It's always there. Sometimes they'll zoom the camera in, up, zoom the Earth in where this has disappeared. This isn't in the screen. Sometimes you'll even see this, solar panels come up on the bottom here because they adjust them as needed. This could be a UFO right there. There are some that clearly are. And keep in mind, this is a lot of work that Mary does. Happen to go into the video shop, editing and put all this in and spot all these, not to mention monitoring the space station live feed in the first place. See, that one did something very suspicious. It's very unlikely that these are lights on the Earth. These are lights that are look at this one. See how it's coming down on an angle? That couldn't be something stationary on the Earth because, again, it's straight across. Anything stationary on the Earth will stay perfectly parallel. And see how this one originated up here and now it's down here. So we know that this is not a light on the Earth or stationary. It's above the Earth going the same speed as the space station. Again, everything's backwards, so it's actually going counter into the space station. See how it goes behind that part right there? That's always there. We can't see it. You do see it when they're on the daylight side of the Earth. Look at see, that's suspicious. Again, this I'm not sure. This one originated up here, so we know that is unidentified. Some of them could be lights. I'm not denying that. Nor is Mary. But they are, unidentified. Look at this one. See how it moves up a little bit? Now, if that was stationary on the Earth, it would go straight across. See how that one kind of went down a bit? So we know that these are unidentified flying objects that are going counter to they're going against the rotation of the Earth. Even though, again, everything's backwards because the rotation of the Earth is this way from left to right. So here's something suspicious down here. Look at this. See how it's going up, up. Now, if that was a stationary light on the Earth, it would be going perfectly straight across, horizontal, perfectly level, because the camera, even though it's coming down on an angle, like say off the equator or something, it's still going to show the Earth or the land going straight horizontal. See how this one's going up a little bit and staying still? This is definitely an unidentified object here. Definitely right here. And again, you have to really appreciate all the work that Mary's put into this. Now, she's not going to admit it herself, but I watch her do it. It took her hours to run this through the video shop and edit and point out all the UFOs. Because this is like a 10-minute video with activity in it all over. Now, right now, there's not much except for this one, which is obviously a UFO that's going the same speed as the space station, 16,000 plus miles an hour. But as it's starting to fade away, because it's going behind the camera lens or beyond the scope of the camera, so we know that that's definitely a UFO, unidentified object, a flying object. These things are going incredible speeds. Now here, there's nothing but the sparkle and the spots that are always there in every video, but in every time it goes into the Terminator at night, you don't always see these things, but once in a while she'll see these objects that just obviously appear, and there's no explanation for them. And if you listen to certain people that have been exposed to what's going on, like Corey Good. I don't know if anybody's heard of Corey Good, but he claims that there's constant traffic above the atmosphere of Earth, and sometimes the camera, again, it's only picking up about 260 miles across of Earth, and I think it's like 60 miles this way up and down. It's so it's just basically a little postage stamp it's capturing on Earth. And again, this camera's, this is space station and this is the Earth, you see. So that everything that comes in between is above the Earth's atmosphere. Look at this one coming in, opposite of the station. Again, the station, or it's going faster than the station. Again, this is really difficult because the stupid thing's backwards, the camera. So this is going faster than the space station. So this object is probably going 18,000 miles an hour. And I see a couple more pop up. So this is definitely a UFO. This one over here definitely is, because it came up out from the bottom. And it's going with the space station. So, and a little bit faster. So these are going, this cluster, which I counted over 12 individual objects in there, that's going faster than the space station. And we know it's not anything on the surface of the Earth, because it would be going from right to left, which is that's lightning down there. So these clusters are going faster than the space station, and they are between the space station and Earth, probably no doubt above the atmosphere, where the lightning, actually see the lightning above the atmosphere, or above the clouds. They call them sprites, but they look fantastic from the space station. And again, we're over the South Atlantic. There's nothing but water here in the deep South Atlantic, because it came up over Japan and headed southeast, the space station. But again, this camera, they're doing it backwards this time. I'm certain it has to do with the camera and keeping it, the digital and data, from being like basically a screensaver. I think that's why they do it. They don't do it to confuse us or anything. I think because they only do it periodically. But it does make it confusing. Everything's backwards. It's crazy. But it still doesn't prevent unidentified objects from appearing. Now here's another one. Now, it's going as fast as the space station. Right there, see that? It's not one of the lights that are permanent. It's moving. These lights that are permanent, that are artifacts from the camera, remain in position. It took us Mary a long time to to understand what's going on, especially when you're in the nighttime side of the earth. And a lot of times when it reaches the terminator, there's lightning again. When it reaches the terminator and today it picks up all kinds of objects. And again, if you believe some of these people, the whistleblowers, they claim that there's a lot of activity up there. Corey Good actually said you can look, if they were able to see these objects from Earth, it would be like a highway up there. That's how much these objects are in use in a sense. And some, again, you can't catch them every time. That's why we know these are UFOs, because it's only once in a while you can catch them. And sometimes it's got to be, the light's got to be just right. You'll never see them during the daytime though. There's too much light, too much light that actually like blinds them out, In the daytime, in the nighttime, you can see them when they're in this little postage stamp, frame. That's literally, it's like a little, if you could compare it to the size of the earth, this is just a little, like I said, it's about 260 miles across and 60 miles up and down. That's the stamp, postage stamp of the earth that you're getting. So you're not going to always get activity, but sometimes she can catch it. Now, this video is still going, and there's a lot more things to make sure it's still going. Sometimes it's hard. It's at the very end. So just talking through it, it goes really fast for me. But when I was looking at it before I did the narration, it seemed like it was quite long. But there was obviously a lot of unidentified objects there, and Mary's been able to catch them. And I hope you all appreciate the hard work that she does. She can't always, she can't do the audio. I'm glad to do it, and I do witness the work she puts into all this. So with that, we'll talk at you later.